Okay, so now that it is 8:02 sharp, it's time to begin the event. So good morning, everyone. Good morning, Montreal time, at least. I am Benoit Larose, the CEO of BIOQuébec, the trade association for life sciences and health technologies in the province of Quebec, which is the second most largest province in Canada and probably the largest health science hub on many, according to many criteria. So in Canada. So very happy to host today a mixed group of Quebec and Lithuania stakeholders and organizations. So we have a very nice agenda today with 4 different speakers, and I will be the moderator for the event. Please note that the webinar is recorded, and then it will be posted on the BIOQuébec page on YouTube, so it will be accessible after the meeting. So today we will cover a number of topics, including an overview of the life sciences ecosystem in Quebec, a few words about BIOQuébec as an organization, as we are opening up more connections and relationship with Europe. Then we'll have an overview of the Lithuania ecosystem, life sciences ecosystem, and we'll also review what's coming up next week at the BIO Europe event. So I will introduce the 4 speakers quickly in sequence, and then ask Mr. Pace to do a short intro, and then we'll get with the program. So first we'll have Georges Jed, who is a Senior Director of Foreign Direct Investment at Québec International. Georges brings over 20 years of experience in the life sciences, pharmaceuticals, and medical equipment sectors. He's an engineer for the Concordia University here in Montreal, and he has led international missions and built strategic partnerships while remaining active in Montreal's community initiatives. Following Georges, we'll have Janine Burkhard, who is our Public Affairs Advisor at BIOQuébec. Janine works to strengthen the business environment and strategic growth of the life sciences industry. She holds a master's in political science and has experience in investment attraction and international development. Following Janine, we'll have the pleasure of having Thomas Andrejauskas, who is the president of LithuaniaBIO, so my vis-a-vis over there. Thomas is a biotech entrepreneur and investor with expertise in finance, life sciences, and technology commercialization. He's also a founding partner and development manager at SETIMED, specializing in plant biotechnology for medicine and healthcare. And last, we'll have Andrius Siušas, who is a life science industry development manager at Innovation Agency Lithuania, probably the equivalent of Québec International. Andrius drives the growth of Lithuania's life sciences ecosystem. His work focuses on helping companies and expand exports and forge international partnerships. So we will take questions during the questions in the chat box of the Teams application at any time, but we'll have a question period at the end of the webinar. And before we move on to the presentation, I'd like to introduce Al Pace for a brief intro. Al is the founder and chairman of Pace Law Firm. He has over 40 years of legal experience. He also founded the Canada-Lithuania Chamber of Commerce and Pace Global Advantage company to support business expansion in North America. He is recognized for his commitment to client service, community engagement, and advocacy for the Lithuanian-Canadian community. So please, Al, if you want to say a few words, that would be very nice.
Thank you, Benoit. Bonjour, labadiana, good morning. As Benoit says, I've been involved with bringing companies to Canada for over 20 years, and my background, Lithuania, my parents were refugees, came from Lithuania after the Second World War. I was born here in Canada. My first visit was in the early 70s as a university student, and I've been there multiple times since. In the past few years, it's been related to dealing with Lithuanian companies that were interested in Canada. And right now, because of the events, especially recently in the United States, Canada is looked upon as a very stable and dependable partner, and it just so happens that the strengths of Quebec and Canada are dovetail nicely with Lithuanian strengths. Whenever I hear the ambassador speak about Lithuania's strengths, he mentions life sciences, biotech, medtech, fintech, and others, and that's exactly what I hear from our leadership. And Quebec is super strong in the life sciences and biotech and medtech, just as Lithuania is. The ecosystem there is incredibly exciting. I encourage you all to go and visit, and then the Lithuanian counterparts to come to Quebec and visit. Quebec is incredibly strong with its phenomenal universities and its government support for this area. And I recently helped found the Canada-Lithuania Chamber of Commerce at the request of the Lithuanian ambassador to Canada, Giedrius Miliūnas. And I encourage you all to join. Anyway, I wish you a very, very good session this morning. And like I said, please visit both ways. Thank you.
Benoit, I think your microphone is...
Thank you very much, Al, for the nice words and great introduction. Really appreciate it. So let's start with our first speaker, Georges Ged.
Good morning, everybody. Labadiena. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
So it's a pleasure being here this morning time in Montreal, and greet all of you. I represent Québec International, and I'm going to try to give you an overview of our Quebec life science ecosystem. It's a vibrant ecosystem, and I'm going to try within the next 10 minutes to cover everything we have, all the advantages. And if you have any questions, just put it in the chat, and I'll be able to answer all those questions at the end of the session. So we have a thriving life science ecosystem. It was built on a very solid foundation. Just for visual, I tried to put many of the logos of the major, leading pharma company in the greater Montreal area. You can see them at the bottom of the slide. So Roche Diagnostic, GSK, Pfizer, Merck, Novartis, AbbVie, Bristol Myers Squibb have decided to have their Canadian head office in the greater Montreal area. We are a life science and health technology leader in North America. 7 out of the 10 largest biopharma companies are in Montreal. And even we account for more than 30% of the life science and health technology jobs in Canada. Even though population-wise we represent around 22-23%, we are punching above our weight. So almost 30% of all the life science and health technology jobs are in the greater Montreal area. Now, if I'm going to give you another overview, this is the whole ecosystem we have in Quebec. It's very diverse. If you look on the left-hand side, this is the number of companies, the number of jobs. Some of the leading universities, I think you are familiar with many of those universities. McGill is a leading university, ranked 27th globally, Université de Montréal. And the center focus on innovation. I'm sharing with you many of our research centers. We have more than 300 research centers and innovation centers in the greater Montreal area. On the right-hand side, you have all the government support you can get whenever you decide to bring your business to Montreal. It comes from 2 different levels, from the federal government and from the Quebec government. Québec International works hand in hand with the Ministry of Economy, Innovation and Energy, and we're the first province in Canada to have our own life science strategy. So it's something really interesting, and the government is investing lots of money to support our ecosystem. On the bottom of the slide, you can see many of the players. It's a combination of medtech, biotech, pharma, supplier, distributor, CROs, etc. Those are very familiar names. They are multinational from Europe, from America, from Asia. Any questions so far? Now I talked a bit about the research centers. So we have more than 300. What are those research centers you know about? I tried to put them in an easy format. So you can see on the slide, it's in therapeutic areas, the oncology one, the oncopole, the cardiovascular metabolic disease. We have infectious disease, geriatrics, precision medicine and personalized medicine. I think everybody, even in Europe, is looking at those specific, targets, so we can get the right medication to the right patient. And on the right-hand side, on the bottom, big data and artificial intelligence. Montreal is very strong in artificial intelligence and how we can leverage AI in drug discovery and moving clinical trials forward. I have subsequent slides who will talk specifically about this specific section. Some of the leading research centers and university hospitals, it's on the left-hand side. So we have the CHUM in Montreal, we have the Saint-Justine, one of the biggest pediatric research center in North America and in Canada. We have the McGill University Health Center, it's based in the Greater Montreal area. We have a big research facility, the CHU de Québec, with the Université Laval in Quebec City, and then we have a big university research center in Sherbrooke. On the right-hand side, I wanted to summarize everything you can have in Quebec. So from preclinical to in vivo studies, up to CDMOs, you can have everything within the province of Quebec. And these are some examples of the big corporations that are already operating in Quebec. I talked a bit about the ecosystem, about research center, about industry. As you know, if we don't have any collaboration between all of those, stakeholders, we will not have successful project. So in this specific slide, I wanted to summarize, some examples, recent success stories, examples from collaboration. The first one is a collaboration between Roche Pharmaceutical, McGill University Hospital Center, and the Jewish Hospital in collaboration with CQDM. They were really focusing on identifying biomarkers for chronic kidney disease. And as you know, chronic kidney disease is an unmet medical need. So this collaboration will ease the burden on patient and get the right treatment for the right patient. Another example is GSK doing collaboration with the Jewish Hospital, supported by Catalyst. Catalyst is a non-government organization who can support pharma and clinical trials and getting, faster approval. And the last one is Novo Nordisk doing some collaboration in public health and precision medicine and AI. In a nutshell, this is the whole ecosystem we have. So you have the clusters organization on the left-hand side on top, including BIOQuébec, who support our ecosystem. I talked about Catalyst and accelerating, clinical trials and approval. And the center support for industrial research, CQDM is playing a major role supporting, collaboration between industry and research. On the right-hand side, a series of active funds and investors. These are a combination of public and private investors within the life sciences. They can be within pharma or within the medtech. And on the bottom, you have, HR, talent, training. Catalyst is a pan-Canadian organization with a big setup in Montreal. Incubator and accelerator, this is one of the great success stories. You can see the logo of Merck. Recently, Merck decided to open its first and only Merck Digital Science Studio outside of the US in the Greater Montreal area. So this is a great success. And it showcases, the attractiveness of the Montreal ecosystem to attract major talent like Merck from outside of Canada. I talked previously about Mila. Mila is one of the cornerstone of our ecosystem. It's one of the biggest, artificial intelligence, agency and organization in Canada. Mila stands for Montreal Institute of Learning Algorithm. They have more than 1,200 researchers. These are masters, doctorate, postdoc, and they are agnostic. So they can work with multiple research organizations, multiple universities, depending on your need. They will pair you with the right researcher and with the right research center. And you can see on the bottom, I put some of the logos. These are some of the major organizations. And just note that some of those are not based in Montreal, but they decided to have an office within the Mila cluster, to have a partnership with Mila, so they can leverage the advantages of Mila and the research in artificial intelligence, supporting drug discovery and clinical trial advancement. Now let me talk a bit about highly skilled talent of pool. I talked a bit earlier about, the number of employees, the number of companies, but from talent pools and students, Montreal is the #1 city in North America, and I was really proud to share this exact slide in Boston during BIO International in the US. I was in Boston and I was saying Montreal is beating Boston as the #1 city, student city in the Americas. This is driven by the number of colleges and universities we have in the greater Montreal area. You can see them, the logos on the map, and you can see some of the big names, McGill, Concordia, HEC, Université de Montréal. Now let me talk briefly about the competitive operating cost and tailor-made incentive, why you need to come to Montreal. Just to give you a concrete example, I just selected MedTech, and I put some of the roles. We can create similar tables for multiple roles you can suggest to us. Here, if you look at the project leader, comparing Montreal, Orlando, and Indianapolis, these are annual salaries in US dollars. So instead of paying $137,000 in Indianapolis or $138,000 in Orlando, you'll be paying your project leader $96,000 equivalent US dollars. So you can save a lot, and you can see on the left-hand side, mostly the savings are between 30 to 40% whenever you do your business in Montreal vis-a-vis other cities in North America. Competitive incentive and tailored government support. This is a slide that summarizes everything that exists, from the federal government support to the provincial level support to the city level support. And here I wanted to draw your attention to the left-hand side, the section innovation. The CRIC, C-R-I-C, the tax credit for research, innovation, and commercialization, is a new program that the Ministry of Economy, Innovation, and Energy in Quebec reformulated and launched recently. And here we are targeting some expenses where you can get tax credit on, including pre-commercialization. This is something new in our Quebec ecosystem. So it's another attractive thing that brings company to come and do pre-commercialization in the greater Montreal area. Just as a summary, I know my time is getting to the end. Why you need to invest in Quebec, why a company will come from Lithuania and do business in Quebec. There are 5 major elements. The first one is strategic location, proximity to New York, to Boston, to Toronto. We are 1 hour away by plane. Thriving ecosystem. I talked about the research center and more than 300 organizations. Pool of highly qualified talent, the number of companies, more than 86,000 workers, direct and indirect, and researchers in life sciences. Competitive cost, I talked about the advantages, and on top of that, we have the lowest electricity rate in North America, and more of 99% of the energy we consume in Quebec is hydroelectricity coming from Hydro-Quebec. So this is another green element for the benefit of our planet. And the last component, stable economical and political environment. We have the lowest tuition fee. We have affordable cost of living, subsidized daycare. Our healthcare system is public. The education is almost free. So these are many of the elements that will make your company come and invest in Quebec. And just as a summary, this is my contact. This is my email. If you need anything, you can reach out to me. Thank you so much. Ashu.
Thank you very much, Georges. That was very clear. I will now invite Janine to speak about BIOQuébec. It's your turn, Janine.
Thank you very much, and thank you, Georges, for the very good overview about the Quebec ecosystem. So, can you see my screen?
Yes, it's good now.
Perfect.
It's good now.
Perfect. So, as Benoit already mentioned, BIOQuébec is the voice of the industry here in the province. Just let me switch. BIOQuébec is a non-profit association entirely funded by its members. We have today 330 member companies and organizations, and BIOQuébec exists since a long time. So next year we will celebrate our 35th birthday. This is what a good chance for you also to come to Montreal next year, because we will host together with Montreal in Vivo, the Life Science Cluster of Greater Montreal, an international conference in the beginning of October, which will be also in English. So we will send the information to our Lithuanian partners when everything is set up. So it could be a great opportunity for you to come to Quebec and celebrate our 35th birthday with us. What does Quebec offer? We are serving, and this is our main mission, we are serving as the industry's voice. We are advocating for a better business environment, which is already very good, but there's always space to improve the environment here. We are very connected with the whole ecosystem in Quebec. We are also hosting a lot of networking events during the year, where you have the opportunity to connect with our member organizations and other stakeholders. And as when you decide to join BIOQuébec, there are also many opportunities for partnerships. As I already mentioned, so we want to stimulate industry growth, also ensure access to the most advanced therapeutic and diagnostic options for Quebecers. This is actually very important for us. So we're working with different other organizations to make sure that new therapeutic and diagnostic options come to the market. And as you know, life science and health technologies, the sector has not only an impact on economic growth of the province, but also on the society directly. So we think this is a very important industry that needs to be supported. Just a very quick overview about our membership. So 64% of our membership are either product companies or service providers. So by service providers, I want to say like CROs, CDMOs, all these kind of providers. We also have 22% suppliers and 50% support organizations. And I don't want to go into detail here because Georges already mentioned a lot of them during his presentation, but all these organizations are a very important part also of the ecosystem here. And BIOQuébec is the most representative in terms of the most representative association in terms of the number and variety of organizations in the industry in Quebec. So just I don't want to get too much into detail because Georges already mentioned a lot of information that you need to know about the Quebec ecosystem, but we worked this year on a first version of a graphic that really shows how everything is connected here in the ecosystem. So you have on the left side different universities that Georges also already presented. In the different bubbles, you have biotech companies, and on the right side, global pharmaceutical companies. So this is only focused on biotech for now, but we would like to do a second one for medtech. And we also continue to add new companies and new connections to this graphic. But I think here you can see in 1 second how everything is connected here. BIOQuébec has many partnerships in Canada, but also globally, mainly in the US for now. So we are very well connected in Canada. This is very important to know. So, for example, Life Sciences BC, British Columbia will also be at BIO-Europe. So if you need an intro here, it will be my pleasure to present you to my colleagues. Ontario will also have a presence there. So we really want to make sure that our member companies and organizations have the opportunity to collaborate, create new business opportunities also beyond Quebec. So we're working with all these associations to make sure, for example, via trade missions, joint activities. So last week, for example, we have been to Toronto to host a lunch mixer, and I think this is very appreciated by our membership. But also, we not only have connections in North America, but also build more and more with Europe. So Andreas will talk a bit more about it later, but we will host a mixer, a Lithuania-Quebec mixer by Europe. It will take place on Tuesday afternoon, just before the bubbly reception at the Lithuanian Pavilion. And I think it could be a great opportunity to continue to get to know each other, create new connections. We are also very much in contact with different trade associations, as LithuaniaBIO, for example, also France Biotech and other kind of associations. We also, when, for example, you decide to come here next year for the conference, we will host an international day before the conference starts to showcase what the province has to offer. We also have close ties with Canada's Trade Commissioner Service in the Baltics, and also participate in all kind of panels in the European Life Science conferences. So I know that you had one this year in the Baltics. We unfortunately weren't able to attend, but it could be an opportunity maybe in 2 years to do something together in this context. And just to finish my presentation, as you might know, Quebec or Canada is now part of Horizon Europe, is an associated country. So Canada joined Pillar 2, Global Challenges and European Industrial Competitiveness, which is the largest pillar in the program with more than 53 billion in funding over 6 years. So you may know that your Horizon Europe is the main funding program of the European Union for research and innovation. And one of the 6 focus areas of Pillar 2 is health. So if you're interested in both like Quebec companies or Lithuanian companies to collaborate on a Horizon Europe project together, we have here in Quebec what we call the RSRI, which are the sector-based industrial research clusters that support. They have they're managing funding programs, but in general they support collaborative innovation, research and innovation projects. And we have 2 in the life science and health technology sector here in Quebec, CQDM, which is more on the biopharmaceutical side, and MedTech Plus, which is more on the MedTech side, as the name already says. So here you have the contacts of Mathieu and Alain, who are responsible for Horizon Europe in these 2 organizations. CQDM will also be at BIOEurope, so don't hesitate to reach out to them. I think they will be also at the Mixer if you're interested in creating new collaborations. That's it for me.
Merci beaucoup, Janine. Merci beaucoup. Now, let's move on to Lithuania with Thomas. Your turn.
Yes, hello everyone, and would like to give a special thanks to our embassy, the Lithuanian embassy in Canada, and Ambassador Egidijus Meilūnas and Ingrida Darašaitė. They made a great job in connecting us, and so we already have a first meeting in a couple of months before, and so I'm really glad that it's evolving, and now we have this webinar, which enables to build a network, to see who is behind the curtain, so to say. And I hope that this is a good start for further develop, because I know that Lithuanian companies from our ecosystem, they are very actively monitoring what's happening in North America, and I must admit we didn't have much of the business with Canada before, and now I think it's a great opportunity to build on this, and I really encourage our members to use this opportunity. I was also our Canadian counterparts to view Lithuania as an entry point for this northern eastern part of Europe. And as it was mentioned, our ecosystem is very vibrant, and I want to share my screen now. I want to show the presentation. Okay. Oops, this one. All right. Okay, so I'm a president of LithuaniaBIO, which is an association. We're a non-profit organization uniting over 150 members. we have 70 member companies, 9 academic members, and our main focus is life science, health technologies, and bioeconomy. Bioeconomy is a new emerging topic, not only in Lithuania, but in Europe in general, because we don't have much of this fossil fuels. Our economies are based on renewables. So this is a really great opportunity for the science and also for the business to develop in this area. And as you can see, we also the members of international platforms, mainly in Europe. Although we have a footprint on MassBio, but we don't have yet in Canada and Quebec. So hopefully we should institutionalize our relationship. I hope so, and we'll become a members of your ecosystem as well. In Europe, we are members of EuropaBIO, a very large pan-European association uniting biotechnology companies. Also Alliance for Regenerative Medicine, Innovative Health Initiative, Bio-Based Industries Consortium, ScanBelt, Global Connector, and so on. This year, we're celebrating 50 years anniversary of modern biotechnology in Lithuania. The kickoff was in 1975 when Institute of Applied Enzymology was established in Vilnius, along with the launch of industrial enzyme plant. And after we regained independence, these institutions were converted into they have a lot of spin-offs. The companies that were, some of them were later developed very well and were acquired by such big corporations as Thermo Fisher Scientific from United States, for example, or Teva Pharmaceutical from Israel. So these were kind of a milestone dates. Also, another milestone date was in 2016, as you can see here. Vilnius University opened a state-of-art life science center in Vilnius, which is also a home, one of the homes of gene editing technology, CRISPR-Cas9 gene editing technology, and our Professor Šikšnys is one of the 4 professors behind this invention. So Vilnius is one of the excellent centers of this technology in the world. And this year, as I said, we're celebrating 50 years, and we have a number of events to celebrate that. And so we're very happy and we are very proud that we have such a long history of modern biotechnology. It's quite mature life science ecosystem. Although we don't have, large number of pharmaceutical companies, our businesses are more, how to say, they are in somewhere in the global chains, so to say, in the middle of global chains. That's the typical business model for the small country like Lithuania. But we do have a lot of competences in different areas. You can see here, pharma and biotechnology, cell and gene therapy is one of our core competence. Proteins, naturally, because we have 50 years experience in proteins and protein design. Pharma, not the pharmaceutical companies, but the companies that are talking into the supply and value chains of global corporations. Also, medical devices, a very strong cluster in Kaunas, around the Kaunas Technological University. Also, industrial biotechnology. Roketa Melina is one of the leading, one of the biggest corporations in Europe. Also, other that provide products and services to agriculture, for example, or to food sector, for example. And also very, very vibrant startup community. We have more than 140 life science startups in the sector, and we as association each month we accept 1 or 2 or 3 new members, which are typically startup companies, and I think it's also the result of our country's targeted work and targeted strategy, which was launched more than 10 years ago to focus to this industry, to also provide also the public finance to this industry, to finance the science, the fundamental and applied science. And we have really good result, and we have really lots of spin-off companies from universities, which are, I mean, I'm personally very happy to see that, because it seems that these investments are paying off. A little bit of numbers. The sector typical exports, it's over 85% of exports. Main export markets, you can see USA, Germany, Poland, Switzerland, UK, and so on. We hope to see here also Canada in the future. And sector recorded a fantastic 100% growth over the last 3 years, and over the last decade, the sector recorded 11-fold growth, which was a phenomenon. It was the largest sectorial growth in national economy, so we are very proud of that. And we have an ambition together with our policymakers. It's not only our association ambition, but also our policymakers to reach to make our sector reach 5% of GDP by 2030, which is quite realistic, because now the sector generates close to 3%. So we think that by joining the effort, we can do that, especially if we focus on the new areas like bioeconomy, biomanufacturing in particular. Talent pool and world-class infrastructure, it's here. We have 7 universities and 7 colleges to study life science and biotechnology, which provides over 1,000 graduates and postgraduates in this area annually. Just biotechnology, I would say, because life science, if you take like medical education, of course, there's a much bigger number of graduates. But if we take biotech, so over 1,000 graduates annually, which is a good number, because when the companies start the business here or establish operation here, typically the first question is how about the employees? Will we be able to get employees, qualified employees? So the answer is obviously yes, because we have a large number of graduates each year. 26 open R&D centers, and 8 of them are for life science and biotechnology. Also 5 science and business valleys. And it's also important to mention that Life Science Center of Vilnius University became part of European Molecular Biology Laboratory. Not sure if Canadian universities are also partnership, because I know that they bring in the researchers from all over the world, United States, Japan, Israel, whatever. So it would be interesting to learn if Canadian universities are somehow involved in this project, because it's a really large project with a large network of laboratories where they rotate researchers, and it's a great opportunity to grow your knowledge and to develop technologies. And Vilnius University Life Science Center, they are providing, because as I mentioned, it's home of gene editing technology. So the researchers that want to work in this area, in gene editing area, they typically come to Vilnius and they do the research here. And also we're very proud that our students, the team of students from Lithuania, constantly winning top prizes on IGM contests in MIT in Boston. Here's Professor Šikšnys, who is one of the inventor of CRISPR-Cas9 gene editing technology. And in the picture you can see it's a Life Science Center. Now on the right side there is a large construction taking place. A new chemistry faculty, university is building a new chemistry faculty. So it's going to be a really nice science valley here. We have 4 innovation hubs plus new hubs emerging. One worth mentioning on the left side, BioCity. It's projected 7 billion euro total investments, and it's going to be a largest BioCity in Europe. And the main areas of activity, it's gene therapy, personalized medicine, tissue engineering, bioprinting, and so on. So it's we are very proud of this project, and Professor Bumelis is behind this project, and it's going to be one of the largest standalone investments in Lithuanian history. So that's it. Thank you very much, and I wish you to continue.
Benoit, I think you're on mute.
Sorry about that. So thank you very much, Thomas. Now let's move on with our last speaker, Andreas, please.
Hello, everyone. Let me share the screen. Just double checking. Can you see the screen?
Yes.
Perfect. So hello, everyone. My name is Andrius, and I represent the innovation agency Lithuania. We are a government agency under Ministry of Economy and Innovation, and our goal is to help Lithuanian companies grow. So we say that we are Lithuanian companies' competitiveness partner, and we provide various services for the companies at different stages. So we have various services for early stage companies, medium stage, and large companies. And I work in export department, so we help Lithuanian companies connect with foreign ecosystems and strengthen their bonds. So I hope that in the future we will see more collaboration between Lithuanian side and the Canadian side as well. And I have included some services that might be of use for the Canadian side. So first of all, we have created B2Lithuania, which is a database of Lithuanian companies. So the companies from Lithuanian side can sign up to this database free of charge. And then from your side, you can browse through this database. It covers all sectors, but also it includes life sciences, so medical device, pharmaceuticals, and biotech companies. And you can better understand what kind of companies we have in Lithuania. You can also find the descriptions of their products and even contact them through this database. Furthermore, we also organize Life Sciences Baltics. We organize this event every 2 years from 2012. And this event attracts more than 1,000 participants from 40 plus countries. So of course, European countries, but we also have attendees from Northern American side and also various Asian countries. And it has different parts. So first of all, conference where we have high-level speakers such as Nobel laureates, various founders of companies. We have exhibition, B2B partnering, startup pitch battle, so quite a broad event related to life sciences. And of course, we invite you to come to the next edition, which will be in 2027 in September. In terms of BIOEurope, we will have a national pavilion. So here you can see in the map I have highlighted in the red circle. We will have 10 companies present in the pavilion. And actually, you can see that it's not that far from the Canadian pavilion. We are in the same hall and quite close to each other. And also, I have checked the floor plan of the whole exhibition. Northway Biotech, which Thomas mentioned, they are the company building BioCity, the largest project in Lithuania for life sciences. They will also be present and they will have their own booth at BIOEurope as well. So in case you will want to chat with them, you will have the opportunity to do so. We have created a catalog of companies that will be present at BIOEurope. So you can scan this QR code or go to the link. The slides will be shared. And you can see the companies that will be present at BIOEurope from our side and also what they are looking for. Some companies looking for investments, some for R&D collaboration, and so on. So it might be worthwhile to take a look in advance to understand better and find the potential matches. And as Janine mentioned, we organize Lithuanian and Canadian meet and greet event. So it will be on Tuesday, November 4th at 16:30. And we invite you to come to Lithuanian Pavilion, where then you will be able to chat with our delegation and search for these collaboration opportunities. And afterwards, we can go to the bubbly reception together. You can find my contacts here. And that would be it from my side, and happy to take any questions.
Thank you very much, Thomas. So we got a nice almost 45 minutes of content here, but we still have about 15 minutes for questions. I don't see any questions in the chat box yet, but maybe I can use my moderator prerogative and ask the first one. So maybe a question for our Lithuanian friends. So what is the main reason why Lithuania companies are looking for partners, and what is important when they are selecting opportunities? Maybe a question for Thomas.
Yeah. As I said, we need to build examples, right? So I think what you mentioned in the presentations, George in particular, about the strengths and especially the geopolitical situation, I think that's important element for the companies to take in mind, and also the investment environment, but also not only investment environment, but also the ability to bring technology here, and also ability to hire people, and ability to maybe export product. So I think it's important to understand also the regulatory framework, because most, especially if you're in pharma, biopharma sector, you are typically regulated, and your products or services are also regulated when they move across the border. So I think it's very important to understand this regulation, and how to and have an assistance also from your side to educate these companies how they can get these permissions, get these licenses to bring the service and product. But again, in the beginning, I think it's important to that we build a ground for the connections. They need to connect, and these companies need to talk to each other. And I think conferences are one of the best way to do that. We had one, Life Science Baltic, just a month ago. If you have in Canada, because we typically visit in North America, typically visit BIO convention, which is 1 year in East Coast, another year on West Coast in the United States. But if you do have something in Canada, I think also that's also for Innovation Agency to consider. We should also consider this opportunity to visit this conference, and to bring the companies maybe with national booth, and start building the network. So, but I think probably the expectations are same as everywhere, to understand the environment, to understand the the regulatory kind of framework, and of course, if you have different incentives, that's very good. That's great. So that's my, maybe not a short answer, but it's like a broad answer. But but I think Canada is a very good opportunity in terms of geopolitical situation now, and companies are a little bit afraid now of the United States, and if you can show that being in Canada also means that you can be also in the United States simultaneously, I think that's a very, very strong argument for the companies to go to your country.
Thank you, Thomas. And what about the other way? We have a question in the chat box basically that asks if there's any appetite from life sciences and health technologies company in Lithuania to license in technologies from Canada to create opportunities in Europe using a company based in Lithuania. Do you think that this is something that would make sense?
It would make sense, but of course we have to speak on a case-by-case basis, because generally I cannot answer to this question. I think it's a very kind of like technical case-by-case question. But of course, I mean, this business model is used and can be applied in our corporation as well.
There was a question was asked prior to the webinar about the regulatory pathways in Canada.
Yeah.
So I think we do. Is Stephanie around? I know one of our members is an expert in regulatory affairs, and she was supposed to be on the webinar. Is she present? Here. Bonjour, Stephanie. I think you know a thing or two about regulatory framework for Canada, right?
I like to think I do.
So can you provide a general idea about the regulatory framework in Canada?
Of course. So I'm going to start with the biopharmaceutical, cell and gene therapy space. The big advantage of Canada is really that we have a mutual recognition agreement with Europe. So there's a lot of opportunity for leveraging European data in Canada and vice versa, right? So that's a huge advantage in terms of the pharmaceutical space. In the medical device space, it's a little bit different in terms of getting, for example, a CE mark in Europe. The CE mark doesn't give you an automatic pass to get a license in Canada. There's additional requirements like MDSAP audits, the Medical Device Single Audit Program, that are required for Class 2 to 4 medical devices. But your clinical package will likely be very, very useful in terms of your submission to Canada, because the requirements are fairly similar, as well as your technical evaluation documentation. That is, Health Canada accepts the European format. So while there's no quick, pass, go, collect $200, there's definitely opportunity to accelerate at least the front end of your regulatory pathway for Canada. Does that answer your question, Benoit?
I think it does, but I wonder if our Lithuanian friends may have follow-up questions about the regulatory framework. Not really? That's fine. So, and what about the other side? Then you said that there's mutual recognition between Canada and Europe. To what degree is this an easy path? I mean, I think there are things in principle and the practice may be a bit different. What's your experience?
That's great. So the mutual recognition agreement is particularly important when we're talking about good manufacturing practice inspections, right? You're not doubling the number of inspections. Canada will recognize, and I did check, Canada will recognize Lithuanian inspections and Lithuania will recognize Canada inspections. But beyond that, from a product submission application perspective, both use the same format of the ECTD. So there's an opportunity there to leverage existing data and documentation.
And Stephanie, if I may add, I think recently they launched like a e-pilot with the FDA for submission for medical devices. I think recently you can submit electronic, the same format, the same template that you can submit for the FDA. I think it's something recent in 2025. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Well, it's been around for a little while. It was a pilot. Now it's actually, you go through the FDA platform to submit to Health Canada. So it's very it's very easy to submit to both places in a timely fashion. However, it's important to note that medical devices are not classified the same in Canada and the US. They are not, right? There's 3 classes in the US, there's 4 classes in Canada. Canada's more aligned to Europe in that sense than to the United States.
We have a few minutes left. I don't see more questions, but I haven't. Oh, Janine, you raise your hand.
Yeah, it's not a question. It's more a kind of information for our Lithuanian companies here. Just to let you know that in the next few days we will launch a graphic that gives you an overview about service providers here in Quebec. So biotech service providers. This is one of the key strengths of the Quebec ecosystem. We have a lot here from and on the whole continuum of research and development. And manufacturing, so from research to commercialization. So you will see at a glance what we have here to offer. Just don't hesitate to follow us on LinkedIn. Will be launched in the next days.
Great info, Janine. So we still have a few minutes, and I have another question this time about funding. So I'm curious about the funding climate for biotech and early stage medtech in Lithuania. Do you have a strong investment base over there, or do you tap into the European network? So how does that work when a company needs to raise, 5, 10, or $15 million dollars or euros?
Okay, maybe I will start. Maybe Andres will add. So we do have. Depends what kind of company it is. If it's a startup company, then obviously if it has a technology, it's being co-financed by the innovation agency, which supervise either the national funds or European funds. And they launch the special programs for the sector that the companies can apply and get funded. Typically, funding is not it's not a grant. It's for the companies. There are no grants. They have to co-finance it with a private capital. So we have also business angel networks and also specialized funds that invest into the seed companies, and then if the company successfully develops the product and demonstrates the prototype, it can approach. I can participate either in other European funding programs or go to the also to investors that provides funding in this early stage. But the problem is that we don't have a very large and very big private equity, so to say, investor base in the country. And this is one of the reasons that the companies that want to go public and need more capital to be invested, they typically go abroad. So the main destinations are UK, United States, or can be Canada as well if you have a strong investor base. So that's the typical pattern. Maybe Andrew, you can add.
Yeah. So from our side, from the government side perspective, life sciences is a very important sector. And as Thomas mentioned, we want these 5% of GDP should come from this sector. So we invest a lot of our efforts, and also in terms of funding, there is life sciences sector is top of the priority list, and we provide grants, so non-dilutive funding, but typically it is a percentage, so it's not 100% of funding, but 50%, 70%, and then the rest should come from the companies, and hopefully then it materializes to full product, which then will be commercialized. So we have different schemes for different TRL levels, and then they can apply. And our agency, there's a group of experts that evaluate the proposed idea, product or service, how innovative it is, and so on. And then the best ones get the funding.
Well, I'm sure that there will be opportunities to discuss, cross-border, types of collaborations, which may or may not involve funding, but I'm sure that there are opportunities out there. But Janine mentioned the the Horizon, no, the Horizon program. Sorry,
Horizon Europe.
Horizon Europe. Sorry, I'm confused with another Horizon. So anyway, so that will be, I think that's the beginning of a relationship that we're discussing here, Thomas. I'm sure we'll have, reasons to establish a more, more deliberate type of collaboration together. Thank you very much for being present this morning. For those who will be in Vienna next week, I hope you have nice business discussions. So again, the webinar will be available on our YouTube page at BIOQuébec, and the PowerPoint will also be sent out by Noemi to the registered participants. So thank you for being with us today, and I wish you a nice Wednesday, and I wish you luck in your projects. Thank you very much. Merci beaucoup.